If you've never sold a home before, and maybe even if you have, you still may not be aware of the various expenses you will incur. So in this video, I'm going to go over all the various closing costs so that you will know how much you will have left after everything is paid out. Now, normally the biggest expense you will have is paying out the mortgage. Now, if you don't know what your outstanding balance is, you can normally get that quite easily online or by contacting your bank or lender. You will also want to find out if there is a penalty in case you are paying out your mortgage early and don't have an open mortgage. The penalty is normally calculated as either a 3-month interest penalty or perhaps interest rate differential, and that is the difference between your rate and what the bank is currently charging. The difference in rate is then multiplied by your outstanding balance and the number of months you have left on your term. Now, these penalties can often be very high, so it's important you find out from your bank, number 1, if you have a penalty, 2, if you do, how will it be calculated? And then 3 is they can normally give you an approximate dollar amount based on a specific date. Now, the actual penalty amount will change slightly depending on the date you pay it off. Also, you probably won't remember, but when you bought your home, you lived in it for a month before you made your first payment. The first payment was for the previous month you lived in the home, unlike renting, where you pay your rent in advance. That means when you're selling, you will now have a payment due for the last month you lived in the home. So, as an example, let's say you sold your home with a July 1st possession. Well, you would still have a July 1st payment due for the time you were in the home in June, and most people don't realize this. Your next expense is normally the realtor's fee, normally calculated as a percentage of the sales price. Commission rates are not set and are negotiable, so I cannot tell you how much they will be, but I do suggest you speak with 2 or 3 realtors and find out how much they charge, but just as importantly, maybe even more importantly, is find out what they are going to do for what they charge. There is a big difference between realtors. Experience, expertise, marketing programs or lack thereof, support staff, and so on. Like any professional service, you get what you pay for. Realtors who charge a lower rate of commission will not be able to spend much, if any, money marketing your home, and that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars in a lower sales price. Remember, your goal is to net out as much equity as you can from your home, so it's important you get the highest sale price possible. So do your homework. Now, once your home is sold, you're going to need to engage a lawyer to handle the closing. Lawyers' fees will typically range between $1,000 and $1,400. Now, I have found some cheaper ones, but again, I would not necessarily recommend hiring the least expensive lawyer you can find. I've had some poor experiences in the past, and so have many of my clients. So again, do your homework, and if you like, I can certainly recommend some good lawyers. Another expense you could incur is a tax adjustment, depending on how you pay your property taxes. Now, you will only pay property taxes for the days you are in the property, and your lawyer will look after making adjustments if you have either prepaid some property taxes or need to pay some property taxes for the period of time you were in the home but did not pay taxes for. Now, there are some additional expenses you could incur depending on what was written into your purchase contract. For example, you may need to provide the buyer a real property report in compliance, and if you do, that will normally cost $750 to $1,100 depending on how quickly you need it. If a real property report was not part of the contract, then title insurance likely was, and the cost for title insurance is about $250 to $300. Your lawyer will order that on your behalf, but it is not included in their fee. Now, other items that are included in the purchase contract on occasion is for the seller to have the property professionally cleaned prior to closing, or perhaps the carpets and furnace cleaned. Well, you can easily get quotes on these, and these will not be a surprise to you. Now, this can apply to repairs as well. It's kind of rare, but sometimes a buyer requested some repairs to be made. And again, these will be in the contract and will not be a surprise to you. You will likely have already taken the cost of these repairs into consideration when you accepted the contract. Lastly, let me address income taxes that could be due on the sale of your property. In most cases where the property is your primary residence, there will be no income taxes due. However, if you bought and sold your home quickly, possibly did some renovations, well, CRA might deem you are doing this as a business and therefore taxes may be applicable. Also, if you are selling a rental or investment property, taxes will likely be due. If you have any concerns about whether or not taxes will be due on your sale, I highly recommend you speak with a qualified professional about that, as everyone's situation is a little unique. Well, those are your typical selling expenses, other than moving costs, of course. You can easily get quotes from local movers if you're planning to hire that out. That should about cover it. If you'd like to calculate what you will have left in your pocket after selling, please let us know and we can help. We have a spreadsheet we use when working with clients to help them calculate their net equity. You can reach us at 780-462-5002 or by email at dwight@dwightstreu.com.